games have a lot of details that usually the players don't notice, which is, for example, if a character's walking around on wood, you hear wooden footsteps, and if he walks around on metal, you hear metal footsteps, and then you have different types of metal, different types of wood, that kind of thing. Now, the gamer just believes it because it's there, but it doesn't make actually assigning those sounds to those textures an easy job. And in fact, your texture artist will already, add new textures almost every day, and then your sound designer will add new sounds, and there's really no reason to tie up a programmer resource to make them all work together. So we created a tool that does it for you. So let's take a look at what the Footstep editor does exactly. I have a little scene set up here, and in this scene I have 4 tiles that I can change the textures of, and I'm going to use that so that I can show what different footstep sounds we can make. Now first let's open up FPS Control and then the editor, and then after logging in we can go to the footsteps here, and this will hold a repository of all the footstep sounds and definitions. Now before we start, we need to select a character, and so in this case the character that's selected is the player, because for example a bigger monster will have different footstep sounds than the player and those kind of things. So that's the first step that we need to select, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Next is the character's footstep definition, so in this case walking on wood or tiles, or you can add as many as you like. If you want to create a new one, you go down here to where it says new definition, and you click it, and it will create a new definition for this character, and you can enter the name for it. I'm just going to cancel out for now. Now let's take a look here for the wood, and as you can see here on the left we have 2 audio clips dragged in that it will at random cycle through to generate the footstep sounds. Now to add those is real easy. You just drag an audio clip from the asset browser here just into the audio clip as a drop field, and there you have it. Most of the time one is enough, but you can add a second one for variation, or you can let Footstep editor create the variations for you, which is done with the settings over here. So we have the minimum pitch and maximum pitch. If I change that, you can see it's very close to the 1 value, and this one is very close to the 1 value as well, because if you use too extreme a setting on the pitch, it sounds very weird, but that may just be the effect you want to go for. Then also you can create a range of volumes that you at random want to play the footstep back off. So you hear it says 0.2, and here it says 0.3, and that's about the range that I like for these 2 sounds in the mix. Now you can set the range to very extreme, but I would keep it pretty close together, because that way it creates just that slight variation that you need in a footstep sound without distracting the player too much. And then last but not least, you can drag the textures in here. So if I go down to my asset browser and just filter everything to show only textures, then I can drag textures in. Now if I drag this brick in here, just for example, you'll see the texture is easily added, and if I want to remove it, I just click the X right there. Now once I'm done editing, I can hit save to save it, or when I've made changes that don't seem to be updated, I can click reload to reload this editor. Now how does this work in game? Let's take a look here. Let me move this towards the side, and as you can see, these blocks here don't have any textures applied to them. If I hit play on the game, you can see no footstep sounds are present. Actually, let me just turn the music off here a little bit. Music control is a different video where we'll explain it, but pretty much what this does is brings the volume down to almost nil. So let's play this again, and you'll notice there are no footstep sounds. So let's change that. I'm going to go here and grab the wooden textures that I like and have defined. So here, floor wood, for example, and now this piece of the level has wood assigned to it. Now of course you can also drag materials in instead of just textures, which is what I would advise, but Footstep Editor was made so that you can use any type of material, but you only have to assign the textures, and that way, you know, if you have glowing wood or burning wood, just because you want a different shader, it would not change much about your fiddling around. Okay, so now if I walk on here, you'll hear that the footstep sound have been created. Now in this level I have a reverb zone, so that's why the delay is there. So if I pick up a gun here, you'll hear all kinds of reverb, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so now let's pause this and let's create a new definition here. I'm going to go here, and now I've added a couple of tiles texture, and I have added a gravel loop sound. So I'm going to change the pitch here because this is a very wide range. So I'm going to keep it closer to 1 or 0. Yeah, let's see what that does for us. And then the volume I'm going to change as well to 0.3 and 0.4 or so. Alright, and now all I need to do is add these textures here in the world as well. So let me save this and look for this tileable texture in my texture browser. And there it is. So I'm going to drag that in. That looks a little quirky, but ah well. And so now when I hit play and walk around, okay, that's a really strange sound, and that probably has to do with the pitch here. So I'm gonna go in and change that. And that's probably because I put it at 0. I need to keep it closer to 1. Here we go. Let's save this. Let's see what this sounds like. And there you have it. It sounds like we're walking on gravel. Awesome. So as you can see, you can very quickly get some really cool result. It's just a little bit of fiddling around, and that's of course what game design is all about. Just you know, tweaking things, but there's no need to get a programmer involved or anything, and it's actually quite cool just to do it visually and to change some knobs and to see how it works for you. And that way, if you have cool new ideas, for example, to make footstep sounds really underwater and have this, you know, effect going on the screen of you being you know, on something or whatever, make everything motion blurry, you can try all kinds of ideas like that. And that's exactly what FPS Control is all about. Tweaking things fast and getting a game out of the door faster, or a prototype if you will. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed this, and let's watch a couple of other videos if you'd like about how music control works or all the other editors inside of FPS Control. Thanks for watching.